Welcome to the DVD that's to accompany the Scientific Wrestling Certification Program. What we're going to do is go over mostly concepts, so you guys get the broad idea. We're not going to go over every single technique that you learned here at the certification, or if you were to come to the certification that you will learn. These are the broad concepts, and these are basic. You need to go over these basics. Coach Billy Robinson is going to go over these with us. The first thing we're going to do is movement. There's very, very important movements that you need to have in order to get the takedown into a controlled position to get the submission. Otherwise, if you don't get this stuff down as basics and you don't master it, you're going to have to always scramble, and it's going to look like a mess when you're trying to go for a pin or a submission. This is the setup for the controls. So please watch this and listen very, very closely as Billy Robinson goes over the basics of shuffling and pivoting.
First thing we're going to do is learn how to stand. It's not amateur wrestling, we're not working for points. This is combat wrestling, and catch counter, best ball submission, forward to the ground. The point is, amateur wrestling with time limits, it can power very little time. Nowadays, compared to 50 years ago, when we first started. First thing is, you don't bend over and get so low. In amateur wrestling, you do that because you're trying to defend the legs. If you do that against a good catch wrestler, you'll get a submission, from face lock, profit, double face lock. So the big thing is to know how to stand. Now the thing is, you want the weight on the balls. You don't want your legs in a straight line. You want 1 foot slightly forward, 1 foot slightly back, no wider than shoulder width. And then what you do now is you control your body weight by just bending your knees until you feel the weight go on the balls of the foot. Once you've got the weight on the balls of the foot, now if somebody attacks my left leg, all I've got to do is adjust my head here now, just turn, and now I can take my left leg back. It's not easy either way, right? That fast. But if you've got a wide stand and stiff legs and you bend over, you can't get your legs out of the way. So the thing is, what we need to do is get that stick your backside out and arch your back. And your hands are here. And you can defend for mixed martial arts, the punches and the kicks, but you're here. Very, very easily. If you want to go forward, you go with the forward leg first. One, forward up into the same stance. Now I want to go backwards, I go backwards. To the left leg goes. To the right goes. Not wide steps. You've got to keep it so good. Once I get too wide, right now I'm jamming. Because I can't adjust my weight enough to get this leg out of the way. That's why we take small steps. So let's just practice that. And Jake will call it out. Okay. I'll say forward, take a step forward, step. I'll say back, take a step back. To the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Forward. Forward. Back. Back. Left. Right, left. Next up, guys, remember, this is good. You don't have to think about it. This has to become natural to you. But if you go to the left, you never take this leg here and do that. Because right now, my legs are in a straight line here. A good comedy style wrestler or ricochet catch camera. A broken man, sweep your legs out of suplex. So you've got to always stay in the same stance, keep your knees back and relax. Good, let's go. Forward, back, back, left. Forward, forward. That's it, good, good. That's it. So basically what we've done just step and you know where you are. But I need you, don't get stiff and don't, never allow your legs to lock out. Another little thing we're not going to clear it. If your knee passes your front toe and somebody pulls me or pushes me from behind, I can't stop myself. If my hip passes my back heel, I can't stop anybody. Anybody pushes me, I'm going to knock down. So you do not let yourself get too far forward with your knee or too far back with your hip. Guys, you see a lot of guys standing with the foot out this way and here. This is terrible for combat sports. Muay Thai kickers use it for the kicking stance. That's a different sport. But like, once you get a Muay Thai guy on the mat, he's toast. So the thing is, the reason we say that is that right now, if I grab you and I want to do a salto or suplex, or I want to do a pivot or a tap, this leg is jammed because as soon as I start with power, I need this leg to be able to turn this way. If I turn this way, I can turn this way because I'm on the toe of the foot, I can turn. But this foot is pointing out, so now my hip is jammed. Now, what's left is just arm power. But if my foot's here, straight, and I get on the ball, as soon as I start to turn, I can drive off that leg to give me the power. Okay, so one more thing. Anytime you're going to make a turn, and you've got some hold of somebody, and you make the steps, you make the pivot or whatever, you always point the toe in the direction you want to turn. So if I'm going for head and arm hip toss, I've got the head and arm. When I step, I don't step with my feet straight. I'm going to take you over this way. So when I step, I'm rotating my hip. That's it. Most understanding flows come from what we call a tripping block, any kind of block on the leg or the knee or the elbow and a pivot. So you have to learn how to pivot. Very important. Again, you do it, and Jay will show you. Guys normally try to pivot from here, and that won't do. All you need to do is, I don't care if it's just half an inch. You've got to make the step to get your knee alignment and your hip, and then you pivot it. And there you go. And that's exactly what it's. Jake, do it again. That's it. Good. Now then, Alex, remember, don't sit back so far. You've got a, whatever habit is, it seems that you want to let your hips go past your heels. Don't do it. Keep in your wrestling stance. Yeah, good. Or catch stance. So Jake, do it again. Both ways. Do it left and to the right. Good. Good, that's it. So the thing is, you step, you wait. Just nice and easy step. Just relax that pivot. That was a complete 180. Okay. I think what we should do is like maybe what we're going to do now is hand fighting or hand control, and then work it in so that when you get the hand control, you use the pivot to throw the man down and get your submission or whatever. I mean, it's very, very simple. Now, if you're in a wrestling position, if you're facing each other, guys, please. Okay, we want to start. We want to start off with, somebody wants to control your hand, you go with the straight. That's it. Okay, let go. And now you can do it cross hand. Okay, now you can do it with both hands. Okay, so hand fighting is very simple. Let go. Grab with the just one hand. It's got to have, what we do now is, you don't try to pull the hand out. You block the wrist. Now block it. You want your thumb around it, but you don't have to grasp tight. All you do is want to stop the movement in that wrist. Then you turn the hand that's being held slightly in to the thumb knuckle. Then drop your elbow down and lift up against the thumb. It will break away very easily. And then you grab the wrist. That's it. Good. So do it again. Just do it. That's it. Okay, now just stop a minute. Don't let go.
Not with the same hand, keep the cross hand.
Okay, you do it. When you come here, you broke. Keep this hand until you've got the wrist. Then let go.
Then let go. Okay.
That's it, good. Then you can slide down to wherever you want.
Okay.
But you don't ever let go with both hands at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, the cross hand is a little different because if you try to do the block the same way, you can't get the energy. So you turn your elbow and your hand the opposite way, drop your weight into the wrist, then just break against the thumb, grab the arm, and then you've got it again. And with two hands, you just make a block over and under, turn the wrist so you get the block, and then drop your elbow down against the thumbs, pull it out, and grab a wrist. There you go, good. And from there, you can go straight into an arm drag, you can go straight into a throw, depending. That's it, good. There you go, good.
Okay.
So, cross hand. Do the block. Only this time you put the thumb right between the knuckles. Okay, you do the same breakaway against the thumb. Now you put your hand underneath and grab it. Now then, when you've got it, you press the wrist in a little bit, then you lift as high as you can into an arc. Keep going with the arc. Now step in and bend over so the weight's on the wrist. Now just pivot. Now that was slow motion. Do it fast now. That's good. Always finish that you've got control like Jake's doing. Control. Right now you can do a step over, get an arm bar, double wrist lock, or top wrist lock. But the thing is, that's how the pivot works. So now, we do the block with the thumb in the hand, break away, put the thumb of the other hand together. Now lift up, and turn the wrist, now step in, pull the arm down a bit, and bend, now pivot. Did you feel that by pulling the elbow down?
Yeah.
How much more
What more leverage?
pressure on the wrist joint? This is another simple pivot takedown, and it starts from the over-under arm position where these boys are in now. And what it is, what we're going to do is, Alex, you do it. I want you to rotate your right shoulder around so you can drop your arm down. Then reach the arm, and then just rotate a little bit, and then bend down so the weight's on that knee. Okay, there. Now step in, point your toe, now pivot, and tap the knee. Good. Nice. Okay. Good. Try it again one more time. Now, there you go, that's it. Pull the arm down. It's yours now. Just step in, pivot. We'll talk about the arm submission later. You try it. No, stop. Very important is when you wrestle, your hands underneath, you want to get the thumb and the forefinger behind the arm bone here. So now even if you're swinging, it won't slip. Then when you reach under behind the tricep, on the arm, not the shoulder. Now lock your arms in and bend down, put your weight, step, now pivot. That's a lot better. Finish. Anytime you practice moves, I don't want you to do the move and let go. I want you to do the move, finish in a controlled position, then let go. I want you to get into a good habit. When you do footwork and any kind of throws, it should be like a 1-2 punch. You're going to pivot or you're going to step in for a single or a double or a body hold. You don't step, grab, and then adjust with the other leg. It's you, boom, boom, like a 1-2, bang, bang. So when you step, pivot. You do it, Alex, and don't stop. As soon as you make the step, pivot. As soon as you got the arm locked, you make the step, pivot. There you go, good. So that was an example of how a pivot works. Okay, this is one of the first throws all amateurs learn, all great wrestlers learn. It's called an arm throw or a flying mare. And again, we're going to use the pivot. This is why the pivot is so very important. So what you do is, you overhook the arm, nice and loose. Okay, now turn back the other way. Okay, now then he's going to rotate his shoulder down and step in, and then he's pivoted. Now he jumps back and drops to his knees, and then he puts his head on the mat straight. Now he brings his arm backwards and around, and it rolls into him. Bring your knee, not the other knee. That's it. And that's how you should finish. We're not doing the pinfall here, but this is the where you want the control to start. Okay, now let's do it again slowly.
We're going to start on
Okay, the throw's okay, the finish is not okay. You've got to get your left leg up earlier. You've got to trap that arm on it. Now bring, there you go, now hook his head. Good. Now his arm is trapped there. Let me explain something to Alex.
Yeah.
Push into him a little bit so he resists. As soon as you get the resistance, bam, explode. So I finished here, right? Look at the top. Yeah. I just landed. So you're bringing this arm back. See, I'm bringing it back. Grab my arm. It makes no difference. There's no way you could stop me. Right now, what you're doing is you're going here and here. If you were to turn this way, you might take me over. So you don't want this leg coming in. What I want to do is, I want to bring this leg in here, and I'm trapping your arm and my elbow. Now I'm into here. Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be another pivot throw, but a very common start is the collar and elbow tie-up. Get a collar and elbow tie-up, guys. Okay, now a lot of the throws, especially in Greco and in catch, it's caused by what we call an overhook. So to get it, Alex is going to throw his arm down, rotate the shoulder, then wrap over the shoulder. Good. Step in, pivot, and hang. Kick the leg. Okay, now then, get your balance, fight back. Now then, as he fights up, the counter is to bring his arm on the inside. Now Alex will grab his wrist, Then interlock his elbows, pivot and step right between his legs and sit. And turn. When you're here and you're going to get the underhook, you try to force his arm out. Just rotate your shoulder. There you go. Good. With the weight on the head. There you go. Nice. There you go. Nice. There you go. Good. Guys, if you do a throw or anything, if it's good,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah.
If there's any difficulty, it means your body's out of position or something's wrong.
Okay.
Nice, there you go. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a half ouch, which is another pivot type throw with head control and arm control and a pivot. And this is an ancient throw that you see from old etchings going back 1500 years, that this throw was a very common throw in catch-as-catch-can wrestling in those days. The point being is that most people tackle and try to grab your legs and you would control the head, then you underhook the arm and do your pivot and you finish up in a control position. If it's done right, it's very, very easy. So we'll try first. We're going to get from the start position of wrist control and the head, how to get the head locked so you want it. So what you do is you grab the wrist and the head, rotate your hip and shoulders together. Let the head slip underneath. As you grab the head, you keep hold of his hand until you've got his head. So that if you let go early, he's going to grab your legs. But if you've got control of his hand, he can't. Then you underhook his the other arm, lock his head into your side, then you step and pivot. Pivot, finish on top, then come underneath the head and you've got control. Okay, good. Now let you do it, Alex, one time. When you step, push into it. Not pushing away from it, put your waist down. Then when you pivot, it's like a screw into the... Nice! There you go, finish. Good, okay, whatever. Good. What we're going to do is another pivot throw that, if done right, the amateur use it a lot called running the bike. But basically it's doing the hand fighting bit before into an arm drag. A little bit of a different arm drag is because you block the elbow and you push the wrist. You take the single leg, load it up onto your shoulder, and then you pivot. Anytime you get a single leg, you don't step in, take the leg, leave this leg here.
Oh, I'm gonna be
Step, step.
Yeah, it's always like that.
But always, and you never go with the outside leg first.
All
You
right.
always go with the inside leg first. Step in with the right. There you go. Nice. Good. Step. Nice. Reach underneath. Step over. Okay, good. Alex, I'd like you to step over the leg instead of pulling his foot.
Okay. Yeah.
But the rest of it was good. Nice.
You all right?
Yeah.
lift his leg. Grab it deeper. Okay, lay on your back just 1 second. Grab his foot again. Now, don't do that. Grab the ankle. Grab the ankle, both hands. Okay, now then, what I want you to do, Alex, is jump around his leg and sit. There you go, sit back. Grab his foot. Lock it. Squeeze your knees together.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another situation where in amateur wrestling against catch can wrestling is the amateurs use a lot what we call the outside leg. That's where the head is on the inside and the arms on the outside. So the simple counter is to get an overhook tight, jump out with the leg and then throw right underneath the legs. And finish in a strong position. There you go. And Alex, don't think, do it. Nice.
Perfect. Right.
That was the best one you've done, actually. You know, Willie, there's a lot of times you don't have to jump back with that foot. If he said sometimes you can't get underneath, so you jump back with the foot and then you can slide around the head to get underneath.
I see.
That's the only reason you jump back.
Oh.
But if his head's low, you just do it.
Okay, we have covered the first of the 3 parts of wrestling, so the standing. Now we're going to start talking about being on top when you're on the ground, and then we'll, after that, talk about being underneath when you're on the ground. So there's 3 basic overarching concepts: standing, on top, and underneath. First, we're going to cover when you're on top, how to transition in some of the positions of catch-as-catch-can and how we maneuver. Later, we'll show you how the submissions like branch off from each one of these positions. So you always have something that you can do no matter where you're at on the mat. Thanks. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is there's 9 basic positions. Now, of course, there's many more than this, but these are just the 9 that we want you guys to understand to be able to flow from one to the next and transition rather easily, okay? So this is more of a pedagogical device to get you guys to understand the basic positions. There's many more positions, but these are the basics, okay? The first one is head and arm. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab him right under the elbow, locking in his elbow, and pulling it to my body hard. I want him breathing out like that, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is pull his head up. Now what you'll notice is this arm is at a 90-degree angle, roughly. This arm's at a 90 degree, my knee is going to be at a 90 degree, and this will be at a 90 degree once I get the position. Once I have it, I'm going to levitate my hips just about a ½ inch up. Okay? So I lock here, pull him to me, 90 degrees. Pull him to me, 90 degrees. These are 90 and I lift up. This is what I want. I want to be having him bear my weight. It's rather hard, huh? It's heavy. Okay? So this is position 1. Now what I have to be careful of is when I have it, I don't want to be leaning too far this way. Because if I do that and he bridges, go ahead, I'm gone. Okay? So I have to be careful of that. The other thing is I don't want my head too far back because he can kick his leg up. No. Kick your leg over my head. This way. Pull me back and back up. Or the other thing he can do is what he was doing before. If I'm up too much like this and I don't have anything to stop here, he just does a sit-up. Now I'm in trouble. So you're going to have to play with this live to get that sense of control. But you just want to be able to hold it. That's position 1, head and arm. Position 2, I lace under, my arms come under. And if you come around, you'll see what I do with my arms here. Come around here.
Jay, just explain. When you say lace under, you're changing the angle of your hip.
Of my hips, right. So my hips are facing up. I'm going to basically sit through, under, backwards. Now my hips are facing down. As I do that, I continue rotating my hips, trying to keep my hips and my shoulders in alignment, Now look, I'm gonna shove his face and pin his bicep here, and I'm gonna continue rolling and pin his face with my hip and change the arm here. So I continue pinning. Now the benefit of this is he's bearing my weight. If he were to bridge up, go ahead and bridge up, I'm on his face, not his chest. See, I'm pinning his head. The other benefit is if his arm is straight, straighten your arm out, and I do this, the arm starts bending, which sets it up for the double wrist lock, or if he's here and I grind down, it sets it up for the double wrist lock, okay? The other thing is, if he were to start to bridge, go ahead and bridge, he does that, I can reach and go for the toe, okay? So this is position 2. Position 3, from cross body, I'm gonna pivot on my hip on his face. I come here to north-south. Again, my knees aren't on the ground, I'm not being gentle on him, he's bearing all my weight. He's having a hard time, he's being very patient, this is painful. So I'm here, driving into him, making sure he's carrying the weight. So this is position 3, north-south. Now, position 4, I come around for 180, and I do a shin ride. Now that's painful for him. If you come around here and you look at his face when I do it, it's painful because my shins are on the femorals, or as I go down, it hurts even more. So I'm here, just riding. Now the benefit of this is my toes, if you come behind me and look at my toes, they're just right here. If I need to, I can just stand up again. The other thing is if you were to bridge or roll, my knees are right here. So I have that control. But meanwhile, come back down. Everything that I have is on the mat. The only thing touching the toes in any of these positions are my toes. Anything touching the mat, is my toes. So all my weight's always on the man except my toes, and those help me with my mobility. The next one is what they like to call, jiu-jitsu people like to call their guard, but we prefer to call it a Saturday night ride, or there's a million other names, but we like to think of this as a dominant position for us. So I want to stay on top, okay? So this is Saturday night ride for me. Now the main point here is I don't want to be down here. He's going to try to pull me forward, which is his strategy, which is a good one for him. So he wants to pull me forward because when I do, my hands, I have to post on them and such. I don't have them as weapons. So my rule of thumb is if I'm up and postured here, I need to maintain 3 in or 3 out. And that's 1, my head, 2, my left arm, and 3, my right arm. So I don't want to have 2, like just have the arm in because it'll take the arm bar. Yeah, exactly. Or if I have 2, so I had 1 in, now I have 2, he takes a triangle. But if I have 3, it makes it much more difficult for him, or 3 out. So just remember that, okay? Now go ahead and flip over. So I could flip him over very easily here. We'll talk about that later. That's not the point. This is the next position. So we go from Saturday night ride to cross body with a crossface. So whenever I take my cross body position with my opponent face down, I want to put on the crossface. I want to turn his head. This is the most important thing. I'm going to take the blade of my wrist, cross his face, and grab at the elbow here. Once I do that, I'm already set up for submissions here or whatever, so it's important to just start from this position. It's also good for turning him over for pins as well. Okay? So crossbody, crossface. I move to the last position. If you come around this way maybe, and that's rear north-south. I let the head go, and I put his head, the skull, right here in the breadbasket. And I sprawl sort of, so I'm pinning him down with it. Okay? Then the last position, with the man down, we do a reverse shin ride. As I bring my weight back, don't do it yet, but he'll do a push-up as I bring my weight back. Not every time, but a lot of times the natural reaction is when the weight's off, he's going to try to take a defensive or quarter position. When he does that, I'm going to take my right leg, the leg on the far side, and hop off and snatch his left ankle by pivoting on my left knee, okay? So when he, go ahead and come on up. As he comes up, I hop off, scoop the ankle with this, and sit down on it, and sit here. Now look at my balance. I'm not like in on this feet, my feet aren't crossed. I'm as square as I can get with my weight sitting right back I'm not leaning into him, taking the weight off. My weight is on that ankle. We call this, come around here. This is called a ball and chain ride. There's a million names, but what we call is a ball and chain, because if Alex would try to pull his foot out, he can't. It's a ball and chain. It's hooked. Okay? So in the submission from here is I just... Say again?
Can I cut in a second?
Yeah, please.
Because that was a perfect example. When Jake gets a submission here, and he's talking about just controlling the ankle, and he let go of the thigh, and Alex dropped his hip and tried to turn his foot. But if you just hold that thigh, he can't do that.
Right.
He can't hold his ankle, his hip or anything. So now the only thing that's going to move is the toe when you grab it. There you go.
And that's just a nice little submission for you, but it's also a good way to ride this guy. You're controlling his leg and you're by sitting on it here, but you have to make sure you have good balance. Don't be sitting sloppy or keeping the weight off, because now he'll pull your leg out. He just sits through and I lost a dominant position. So, the last position besides the ball and chain that we're going to talk about is what's called the side ride. Now look, the important points are, I'm not up on him at this angle. This would be a different type of, we'll show you a ride where you ride in line with your opponent. But for a side ride, my weight is up on his hips. So he's carrying all my weight in his legs. This leg is out, so if he were to try to sit through this way, he can't. If he tried to gun the other way, I've got it. I've got decent control here. Now I could set up a variety of submissions from here, but this is a side ride. I'm sideways on his hips with one leg in. Okay? The last ride that we would do would be, I'm up here, and I cross my ankles like this. I'm trying to keep my knee up here and ride on him. Now what'll happen is I'll put my arms and my weight forward and stretch him out and break him down. Right? And from here I could take Nelsons or whatever, but at least I'm controlling him. I'm pinching my knees together like Thigh Master to control him. Okay, so those are the basic 10 positions that we're gonna run. Why don't you lay down, Alex, and I'll just move through them real quick. So that's it. Thank you, Alex. How'd that feel?
Oh, uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's rough
Very
being underneath.
Yeah.
Anything else to add on the experience underneath?
Can't get my breath. When I think I've got a chance to move, I get an elbow in the face or a hip bone in the eye, something like that. It's just totally disgusting.
So what we're trying to do, there's two things here. When we do this as a drill, we go through, you master the positions first, then you do it as a flow drill to get your maneuvering around. It's good for him because it's stress inoculation. He's getting all that, learning how to toughen up. But I'm also learning how to move and transition efficiently.
What happens is you're wearing your opponent out if you're on top riding like Jake was. That's called riding. But the thing is here is that sooner or later the guy underneath is going to say to himself, I'm not going to stay here anymore. He's going to explode. When he does, he has to let an arm free, a leg free, an ankle free. His head will move, and if you're in position, you're going to get it for the submission. So it's like being a terrier, just you keep on snapping at the ankles, until he turns on you and get the throat, just as an explanation. You know, you never rush this type of ride. You make it as uncomfortable for him as you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're hurting him while you're doing it, all the better. That's what a wrestler means. That's good. So now, the thing is, okay, don't cross your feet that way. What you want to do is, that's it. But also, if you can't cross your feet, you're not in the, just hook his ankle with this leg.
With this leg?
That's it. Good.
I see.
Now squeeze your knees in. There you go. And get straight on it. There you go. Okay, come back. Now when he pushes up, cross your ankle.
So now cross him this way?
Now, yeah. Okay, now what that is that when he collapsed, you may have gone too far up his body.
I see.
You understand? So now what you would do is look underneath your armpits.
Here?
Both armpits. And push yourself back. There you go.
Oh, I see.
Now you're in position.
Now I break him.
Yeah, now, okay. There, what you would do here is reach over his head here, grab the wrist, and with both hands. Okay, now, don't take it this way. Bring it to me, because this is his weakest position here. And arch at the same time. There you go.
I see. Wonderful.
You understand about that, the angle there?
Yeah, so you're taking him to the weakest angle.
Yeah. The side he's strong. Here he's strong. Here you've got no muscles that support the in-between position. So when you're attacking, you try to work the arm to that position. We're going to do ground wrestling in the very basic stuff. And short sit out. We can show you a long sit out later for the switches and stuff, but right now we're going to work on the short sit out. So you've got two basic stances. You've got the low defense position, which is where you're sitting back on your heels, and the high defense position. Now, get a bit farther forward. Okay, watch. This is important. Yeah. You want your shoulders and your wrists aligned. Now, no matter how much weight I put on you, if your arms are locked, you're not going to feel it. But if your hands here, and I put weight on you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's the same as we're talking about with the ankle submission, where you get your shoulder completely. You would be, I'm sorry. But, you know,
alignment,
yeah. And the alignment, the shoulder and the elbow. So it's the same thing to get the most power. Okay, now, the thing is there are two defense, the low and the high. The high is when you're going to attack or escape, and the low is a defense to take a break and get your second wind back, basically. Okay, now we're going to work on a short sit-out. Now a short sit-out, your feet should be together, okay? And you just sit to the side, guys. No, I don't want you to put your foot out. No, you do it like the amateur sit-out, or what we call sit-out. And that's where you plant the foot to sit out. I just want you to put your, that's exactly what it is. Okay, you do it. That's it, good. Now, stop, do it. But I want your bodies this way more. There you go. Now come back. Now the other way. Good, come back. Okay. Oh, we used to do sets of this all the time. While I coach in Japan, and we were, you know, like 10 to the side, 5 sets. It's when the hip was good, not now. Okay, so now get in a high defense position. And go behind me. Now, the arm roll is an old-fashioned way of taking the guy on his back. It's not often used in the amateurs now because of the power wrestling and the scoring is a little different. In the old days, an arm roll was very, very good. And for catch-can wrestling, very, very good. But what a guy would do if he's on the offense position, like this gentleman here, he wouldn't put his arm in too deep. He'd keep his arm short. So this is why, from the high position, you can grab the wrist. Now you do a short sit out. Now then, the hand has come out, so now you put the hand back deep. Now you come back. Okay, adjust your left arm, then roll underneath. Put your hand in between his legs, then trap his head. Okay, good. So that would be using a short sit out and arm roll. And his arms there. Okay, now drive this way. Drive into him and drop your weight. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, but like, that's because of your arm position. So you want your arm position right here, but locked out here. Close your fingers. Okay, good. Now then, when you're going to do it, what you do is you turn your shoulders a little bit into it and put this hand here. Now then, just roll. And it's yours. Hand in between and then get the head. You can get it that way or the other way, either way you like. Did you see how easy that was? And the thing is again, position. You've given yourself room to roll. But the arm position of the short sit out is like you pull it out, sit out, lock it, come back, roll. Here. Lock it, come back, go. Good. There you go. Put your hand in between his legs. Put your hand on the other side of the head. Okay, now then, all you've got to do is hook his leg with your right arm. Now, roll into his leg. Let go of his head. Now then, get that. No, this one. There you go. What you should do is make a fist and put it in his armpit. Okay? And then put your hand on the head. There you go. There you go. Easy.
Okay, good.
But, I mean, that's just an example, you know what I mean? The thing is, you've got to make it work for you. Well, a defense position, you take him down and you're facing each other. It's normal that a guy will try to grab the head and around the arm. A good defense for this is what we call a sit out. And can you guys turn around? There you go. So first, Alex has got to push up into a strong position. Then plant his left arm facing the way he's going to turn. As he puts his leg out, cocking the hip, he grabs the elbow, around the elbow. Now he sits as far underneath. Now grab the hand with the other hand. Now keep turning. Now there you go, bring the arm around. Good. Good. If you get that hand off the mat, there's a lot of submissions from there too. There you go. Okay, walk around a bit. Okay, now let his hand go to the mat. Now get your position. You've got no weight on it. There you go. Yeah, don't use your right arm.
There you go.
Whatever. Okay, good.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to run through those 10 positions and just show you a couple of the submissions, how they branch off. Now, mind you, Billy said that if we were to make a full it would take months and months and months to film something. So these are just to give you ideas.
Simple basics.
Simple basics. So I'll have Billy go ahead and lead, tell me what to do to show you guys. So
Okay, so you're pulling up on the arm. Now, you slid his elbow. Now, when you let go of the elbow, he's going to pull his arm out normally. Now, you grab the wrist. Now, just push the wrist in this direction. Now, hook it with your leg. That's it. Then lock it and then just lean back on the hip. Okay, now stop. Another thing you can do here, stay there, is instead of getting the figure four, is don't get the figure four. Put this foot here, a little bit further out. Now then, grab the head, both hands. Now, he's got a good pain tolerance. So what you do is bend this foot backwards, and then push it through that way. And then lift the head. There you go.
So I'm sliding this foot back.
Yeah, and then his elbow takes a different angle there, and it'll tear the elbow.
And there's also, we have this too, right, where I'm hearing as I
So
slide
now he
back,
grabs, yeah.
and I can straighten out
That's it, yeah.
and start pressuring for an arm bar.
Yeah. Drop this leg a bit further back first. There you go. Now press it down. There you go.
Okay?
Yep.
It's again, your position, if your position's too high, you're not going to get it. So
I don't have the fulcrum.
You've got to slide just to the elbow. That's it. Then you push down your shoes.
So then the only other one that maybe we should show.
If he grabs you to try and pull you over.
So the first thing that I have to do is I have to try to scoot my position down so he doesn't take me over. So I scoot down a little bit. Now I'm going to take my arm and go, I'm just putting this down so you can see.
Yeah.
I'm putting this underneath here.
The elbow. Slide it
At
under
his
the
elbow with the blade of my hand.
Yeah.
Here. Okay? Now I'm going to grab my hands together, bring his shoulder up, and start grinding him. Okay?
Yep.
So as he clasps, I go under, I bring him up and into the shoulder this way. Okay? So that's this position. Now we'll go ahead and
It's a basic, okay.
basics, right?
Okay, now then. Flatten out a little bit so you get chest to chest. Okay, that's now. What Jake has done now, he's jammed the razor part and the cutting blade of his forearm into Alex's jaw. And he's got the weight on there. Now, what he does is he rolls his other elbow so this arm comes up. Now he can grab it with this hand, pull the wrist in, and now he's got a top wrist lock.
So, transition.
I should just stop a second. Just keep there, let go, go back. Now what I want you to do is not put your elbow on top, put your elbow on the mat.
Okay.
And now slide your elbow along the mat and then roll. Slide it so his arm moves up. No, you've gone on top of it. There you go, now roll it. Now that arm's right there for you. Good. What it is, Jake, it's like you're pushing it with your hand, except you're doing it with your elbow, so that you're already into the rolling position.
Right.
So you can grab the wrist.
And also for maximum position,
Yeah.
a lot of people are doing this top wrist lock like this. It's better to get him like he's talking on the telephone.
That's it. That's
Right?
exactly
Because
right.
then once he's talking on the telephone, the arm comes out this way.
Yeah.
Not down
Yeah.
in this way. Here, and then that way.
Change to the wrist. Yeah, but now, what you want to do, when you're going to do that, put your hand behind his neck.
This hand?
Yeah. Okay, now then pull his head up and take the arm out. There you go.
Okay. Now, the other thing that you can do if you come around here with the camera, so maybe double wrist lock.
Yeah.
So again, I transition around and I can grind the arm down this way. This hand being free, putting my hip into his face, grabbing, shortening it here. Now if he locks his arm out, lock the arm out, here, grab the hand.
Then roll into it with your
Now I can roll into him.
Now then you drop the head. Push that down. Okay.
The other thing being, now if he starts thinking he's gonna bridge and he plants that foot to bridge, as soon as he goes, I grab here. Now I'm not gonna drag his foot this way. I'm gonna take my elbow and try to push it through to the mat right here. So I'm twisting inside of his knee joint. So cross body. So again, as I cross over, I'm turning his face with my hips. So I'm here, block, hip to the face, turning him over. Now simply I could slide over, take his head, start piking up. So what I'm doing is you okay?
Yeah, good.
I'm taking the pointy part of my shoulder, putting it in his chest, even if he puts his chin down to protect. When I take that front head, like put your chin down. I'm here, now I pike up, and as I pike up and walk backwards, pointy part of my chin just starts dragging and pulling his head up. And then I can pike down right there, drive down onto his trace.
It's not a joke, it's a gag, really. You got the gag.
A gag. So, here, and back. Okay?
Yeah.
So the other one that you can do is if I'm here, as I go, bring this knee up. This is transitioning from crossbody to north-south. Put the knee on the face. Use the knee to turn his body as he goes. Catch the arm here. Put my hands down. If you come around to this side, by turning his head and clamping my knees together like Thigh Master, clamping them hard, you can see his head is turned face down into the mat. I'm clamping them hard. Put the hands in. I'm using this arm to catch, because if I don't, he'll continue rolling. Okay? Now here, continue to roll. He's stuck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up about an inch. I'm posting on my feet. Look, my toes are in the mat. These are here. I'm going to lift his head up and twist this way. Crooked head scissor.
William style.
So as he comes here and he starts turning, I catch the hand, lift up, and crank the head. Okay, one time full speed, you okay?
Yeah, good.
So I'm here, come around north from the head side, and maybe kneel down so you can get the low position of his head. So I'm here as I go, I come onto his face. Let's start that again. As he turns, here. Now I lift up, crank. Okay? Now the other thing is I can come right here, climb up, take the arm for straight arm bar, take the double wrist lock around, or I can do the same and take both. The neck crank, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another submission set from the front north-south. Anything to add, Billy?
Not really, because there is just too many to go into. Now you want to confuse everybody. The thing is, where you learn how to change is on the reaction of what you are doing to the person. And each person will react a little bit different, because we're not like on a conveyor belt machine made. Everybody's different. Some guys are very supple. Some guys have got a high tolerance of pain. Even though you get a submission perfect, you just don't want to quit on it. So that doesn't mean to say that you can't beat him. It means to say you're not going to beat him with that. You change to something else. And the more technique that you have, the more submissions that you have, it's like the more bullets you have for a gun. You know, the first 6 in a 6-shooter, the first 6 don't work, you miss them, and you reload. If you don't have any bullets, you'll be. So you've got to have enough ammunition, and that's knowledge.
So we'll float around for our shin ride here. And again, I'm on top of the man. My toes are here. If I wanted to, I could just stand up if I need be. But meanwhile, I'm able to ride, and it's sort of uncomfortable for him because the shins are on the sensitive areas. Obviously, I can get down closer to the knees, start riding, and you can see his face. It's painful, so.
Yeah, but you see, what Jake's doing now is perfect. But the thing is, He doesn't have to walk backwards to do that. He's just got to take his knees a bit back.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to make two moves.
Yeah.
You just change.
Without even taking the weight off.
Yeah.
So from here, I can also, if you were to bridge either direction, I can still put my knees down, have control or whatnot. I can even switch out for grapes here if I want. So I could simply come here, pass this along, and start working the leg as well. Now the next position is here. Again, I'm going to take my hand short, just the blade, go just under here. And I'm actually going to take this side of the blade, here, grab my hands. And all I have to do is clamp it tight to my body.
Just one thing.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to let, because a lot of guys do it and then they let the shoulder slide this way. You've got to lock your shoulder underneath there.
Sure.
And then just turn your body. There you go.
Now all I have to do is grind up, move up the foot. From here, put the wedge in, turn it upwards. So it's here, I turn the wedge upwards as I move up the foot. Now what I want to do from here, once I've turned him, assuming I don't want that submission,
Oh, he's tough.
or he's tough, whatever, I'm just going to take it out, but I'm going to keep the leg underneath my body as I climb up. Take the crossbody, crossface. Staying on it. Now the easiest submission from here, since his head is turned, I have a neck crank here. Very, very simple. But the other thing I can do is if you come down here for the camera, Brule, see I'm riding him and I'm trying to control him. I'm going to sit through and put my hip next to his hip. Sit in, grab it, hook it, grab the toe, toe hold. Really easy for the guy. Another thing I can do is go in, grab my toe, do the toe hold here. Okay? So now I can go front, north, south. And again, when I do it, I want his head right in the breadbasket, right where my ribs are. And I kind of start arching. Now if you come around here and get low so you can see what I'm going to do to his shin, if he comes to all fours, as he comes up, I'm going to take my hands like a cup. I'm just going to cup on his chin here. And as he keeps coming up, I just bow into him. You okay? Yeah. So here, and I roll into him. So this, again, is a gag on him.
Yeah.
So then, go ahead and lay him flat again. So now I can move around again for shin ride. And as I come up, what's going to happen before you come up? This leg is going to hook this ankle. So go ahead and come up. As he comes up, I hop off, scoop the leg, and sit on it. Okay? Hopefully high inside the knee, and I put my weight on it. This is called ball and chain. Now, from the positions, I hold his leg, hold the toe, and simply pull up on it. The other thing I can do for a breakdown is bring this arm up over the hip, and I turk with this leg now, and drive with the far leg. Here, and start turking. You'll also notice that if I keep the weight on the hip, keep this knee down, I can start levering the knee. Here. If I've got the side ride and you come around to this side, as I keep the pressure in him, all I have to do is as I come, just sit down here to the side. Sit right next to his body, keep my leg in. Here, grab the toe and pull. Now if I want to make it extra hard, I just put this there as a block to maintain my weight.
You're in the tub ride. Squeeze your knees together and then just throw your hands out, arch you back and make you go flat over, bang. Now then, put your hand on the side of his head here. On the side of his head, the other hand.
This hand here.
This hand. Push his hand.
This
Push
hand?
his head.
This hand here.
That's it. Then get the half nose. And right on the top of the head. Now lever. Then take your hip the other way. There you go.
So again, if I'm in the ride, look at my legs. I'm going the same direction as him with only one hook in. I don't have two hooks like you see in jiu-jitsu. I have one leg in, driving forward. I take the hand, push the head, come under the elbow, and my hand is a fist. Under the elbow, put the fist on the head, and wring him out like a dish rag.
His hips going that way, and his elbows coming this way.
So, I'm wringing him the opposite direction. Thanks. It's a lot like what they're calling a twister. And it's similar to the wrestler's guillotine or the twister, but it's a lot easier to get. I don't have to work as hard.
This is a typical starting position in amateur wrestling or in a lot of different kinds of wrestling. We need to get a breakdown to get into a position to pin your opponent. And what we're going to do now, firstly, is to chop at the joint of the elbow and grab the arm and lock it to his body. Then we're going to put our foot out, sit through, roll back, turn. Then when you're there, put your head on the mat, kick over. Now drive into him with your body and trap his arm. Now the hand between the legs will stop him using his legs to turn. He can't bridge because the other arm's underneath the head, and he's also got his arm jammed between the two bodies. So it's a very effective pinfall for young wrestlers and amateur wrestlers and stuff. So what we need to do is to break the opponent down. So the first thing we're going to do is chop the elbow joint, grab his own hand and lock the opponent's arm close to his body. Then we're going to stick our left leg out and then sit through with the right, roll back, turn, put your forehead on the floor so you can cross over, and now drive straight into him so that his arm's trapped, his shoulders are flat. He's put the hand between the legs so the man can't use his hips to turn to get to safety, and he's got the head trapped. So that's a good pin. Okay, we need to break him down again before we go into the pin. So this time, I need the weight off his arm that he's defending with. So when I reach across his face, grab the arm, lift him so the weight's off, then slide down to the elbow. Once it's to the elbow, that arm's mine. Then with my other arm, I'm going to reach underneath, grab his elbow, then change to a 45-degree angle and drive forward. Push, 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 push. Don't stop driving. Okay. That's basically it. The thing is with catch wrestling is it's physical chess. It's so much fun that you never want to get, once you've learned it or got into it, you never want to get out of it. Hence my old battered body. But the big point is this, that there is so many moves, so many counters, so many different reactions. There's not one set way to do anything. You have to adjust. You go for what move you're going for, but you've got to adjust to how your opponent his reflexes are, or his reaction is. So there's no saying, well, oh, I can do this or I can do that. You can be the greatest performer in the world, greatest wrestler, greatest technician, but on a certain day with a certain guy, you're not going to get what you want maybe. So you just have to adjust. If you decided you're not going to get it, you do not waste time or energy trying to force it. You change and start working on something else. And it's physical chess. There's no nearly getting it right. If he's not 100% right, it's wrong. And if you, all the moves you learn and do, whatever it is, when you're in a match or you're sparring hard or whatever, and you do it, if it's easy, you've done it right. If it's hard, it means you've got to afterwards think about why, what was wrong. Next time I'll have to adjust this knee 2 inches forward, 2 inches back, or adjust my body weight, you know. But when it becomes hard, then there's something wrong. Because the right position and timing, everything should be easy. But it isn't. If it was easy, everybody would be a world champion.
Brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. So far removed from any style I've studied so far, folk, freestyle, Greco, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Japanese or Brazilian. It seems that everything you guys do involves pain. You enter with pain. You use control positions with pain. You submit with pain. Everything is pain. Even right now, I am in a state of body and mind far beyond Motrin and narcotics. But I loved every moment of it. It's very invaluable. It gives me a new way of looking on at the Savat Donsteru that I already practice.
It's incredible. I really enjoyed myself. I learned a ton of new things. Catch as Catch Can is a really full system, and working with a master like Billy Robinson here, it's really incredible. I feel really privileged to have been part of this program.
I loved it. I think it's phenomenal. I feel that the art, it's so simplistic. It makes me think that many of the other arts just deviated away from simplicity and, made things complicated along the way. And, Catch as Catch Can just, it just gives you the move right there. I mean, it's simple, it's effective, it's painful. It's a great art. I definitely highly recommend it for everyone. Especially if you just want to continue with MMA or grappling or whatever it is, Catch as Catch Can is definitely a great beginning for it all.
The problem is it was too short. The 2 days we're not long enough because there's so much to be shown, and everybody reacts differently. The reflex system is different. People are loose limbed, or some people are stiff, some people are very strong, or some people are very fast. And you've got to learn how to make any move or any position work with anybody. And the only way to do that is to learn your body position, how to get power from the alignment of knees, hips, shoulders, ankles, toes and heels, so that you can get the most power and speed from your own body to be able to achieve a situation where you can do anything with anybody. And catch-as-catch-can wrestling is the #1 martial arts sport in the world, bar none, and it is physical chess. Unfortunately now, with the mixed martial arts, they've cut the pinfalls out, which to me is terrible, because a lot of the submissions that we've learned the last 2 days can be got a lot easier from somebody trying to defend himself from being pinned. Because as he turns or tries to escape from a pin, he'll leave an ankle or a loose arm or head for crooked head scissors or many, many things. So now you've got to do the things, but you've got to do them from a different position, you know. But it is the greatest sport in the world, and it keeps me young. And the thing is, like the old timers, all probably world champions or champions of some kind, that have retired, and there was no distraction in those days. There was no internet, computers, telephones, clubs to go out with, or like the social life. Nobody had any money, so all the youth of all the countries like were full of fire, vim and fire, and they wanted to do something, so they joined a soccer or rugby club or judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, and the toughest of all, catch-as-catch-can wrestling, submission wrestling. And you had many, many sparring partners, because there was just hundreds of guys around in every town. But the old timers used to come down to the gym because of the atmosphere, and they'd see you do something wrong, and after your training session, they'd pull you to one side, explain to you, show you, get you back on the mat with a different sparring partner, and make you do it. And the thing was, I used to wake up with a head up screaming, because I'd hear this voice in Billy Riley's voice, my coach, and Carl Gotch's coach, screaming at me, do it again, and I'd wake up like with ringing in my ears, do it again, and I'd look right there, oh God, you know what I mean? So wrestling has been the greatest life I can figure of that I could have had, and it's been very, very good for me. And I want to be like the old timers and give my knowledge back, so the sport keeps on going. The thing is, with catch-as-catch-can wrestling, the major thing is to learn how to learn. Once you get that, once your coach, like Jake or myself or some other old timer, has got into your mind how you can learn, you never stop learning. I'm learning now, because with this mixed martial arts, there are different situations, so I see it, and then it doesn't take long to figure out how to counter it or beat it. But I'm learning it because I never came across that situation. But now I see it because I've learned how to learn. I have no problem with it or teaching somebody how to beat it. When I was champion, Billy Riley never said any good word. I became British champion, European champion, British Empire champion, then the world champion. And I went back to England. I said to Mr. Riley, because I never called him Billy in my life, you know, always had the respect. And I said, Mr. Riley, I said, why was it you never once said to me, Billy, that was great, oh, that was good, son? He said, no. He said, I'm here to teach you what you're doing wrong. I can teach you the moves. What you're doing right, you don't need help with. What you're doing wrong, then I'm going to tell you about it and adjust it so you do it right. But the problem with the youth of today is he was talking about me being 18, 19, 20, and he's the old man like I am now. He was saying the problem with the youth today, meaning he's the old man and I'm the youth, is that once they start to think they're good, once they start to think they are the best, they stop learning. And I tried to keep it a situation where you never wanted to stop learning. So that's my answer. It's just great. It just, once you learn how to learn, it just mushrooms out.